Welcome to Sociology for Competitive Exams. In this video, I'm going to talk about the meaning of culture and its sociological concepts. Namely, multiculturalism, Eurocentrism, Afrocentrism, cultural integration, cultural lag, Ethnocentrism, Xenocentrism, cultural relativism. These concepts are very much important for your competitive exams. So you must know the conceptual meaning of these words. To make this video, I referred Missionist Sociology and the C.N. Shankara Sociology book to get more ideas on these concepts. You may refer these books. The meaning of culture. Culture is a Latin word derived from cult or cultus, which means tilling or cultivation or training or education. Culture is a human trait. It is a human's way of life and it is shared by the individuals of a particular society, and the culture shapes how we act, think and feel. Whatever religion you belongs to or whatever region you belongs to, you may have a particular trait and way of life. It is actually shared from our grandma and grandpa and their grandma and grandpa. It's actually shared by one generation to the other generation. Actually, the culture is specific only to human being. We have lot of species in the world and they have limited capacity for culture. They cannot learn it, they cannot carry forward to the next generation, but only human being rely on culture for survival. Example, when you are feeling hungry, you have to have food. What about in the hilly station? What about the people, those who are following hunting and gathering still? That people has to follow hunting and gathering. So when they feel hungry, they have to hunt the animal or birds, they have to fulfill their need. So culture is differing from one society to another society, especially it is transferred from one generation to another generation. It is specific to human being. Culture is a product of human evolution. The culture is based on the human's progress. If you take a bicycle, then motorcycle, then car and bus and train and aircraft, because of human evolution, culture started changing. Culture is a product of the human evolution or progress. Example, as a human brain evolved, culture replaced the biological instinct. If you take fear, fear is one of the biological instincts of a human being. Whenever you see a snack, you will get scared. So that is a biological instinct. When you learn the culture, you know how to handle the particular scary situation, how to handle the snack, how to catch the snack. That the culture will teach you how to handle the situation. So the biological instincts were replaced by the culture of a human being. Actually, the biological instincts were the primary strategy for survival. Moving on to the sociological concepts, multiculturalism. It is a perspective or a belief recognizing the cultural diversity of a particular country and how it is promoting equal standing for all different cultural traditions. This term actually popularized by Canadian sociologist John Porter. He wrote a book called The Vertical Mosaic, an analysis of class and power in Canada in 1965. So Porter discussed about the cultural mosaic, which means the coexistence of different cultural groups. So he talked about the Canada and how Canadian associated with different cultures and they were living in a particular society. And also he talked about the melting point where the minorities were losing their identity and they started accommodating the majority's culture. So there were a lot of cultural practices living in a particular region. So to discuss about the cultural mosaic and melting spot, he wrote this book and he gave more importance for the cultural influence and the multiculturalism. Next term is Eurocentrism. So Euro and centrism. It's about a belief giving centralized idea and giving importance to the European contributions to the world history. So the Eurocentrism talked about the dominance of European, especially English, and how the cultural patterns of European during middle 20th century influenced the post-colonialism and decolonization and global perspectives. So thinkers started giving more importance to the contribution of Europe and European culture for the historical development and cultural and intellectual developments. So group of thinkers were giving a lot of importance to the contribution of Europeans towards the development. It may be a historical or cultural or intellectual. Whenever we talk about the Eurocentrism, it is more related to post-colonialism. They give more importance to talk about the post-colonialism. Then decolonization process also related to the concept of Eurocentrism, and global perspectives also a part of broader discussion when we talk about Eurocentrism. Next cultural concept is Afrocentrism. As I said, giving more importance to the African, giving central importance to the Africans, how they contribute from their side and created the world history. And this is about promoting African cultural pattern. The term was coined by Dr. Mulefi Kate and Ascent. He is a scholar and a philosopher as well as a professor. He is a specialist in African American studies. Late 20th century, this term was very famous among the thinkers and philosophers to describe the cultural and intellectual movement or contribution of people of African descent and their experiences, how they contributed towards the history and how they see the human progress were explained under this term. And this term seeks to challenge Eurocentrism, and if you take Eurocentrism, they were giving more importance to the European, only the European influence the other culture, they are the only reason for civilization. But Afrocentrism talked about the importance and the contribution of Africans, how they influence, how they helped the other developed countries to develop their state. And the Afrocentrism promote a more inclusive and accurate understanding of African, more belief and more thinkers were excluding the Africans. This Afrocentrism gives more important about African diasporic contributions to the world history as well as culture and intellectual developments. Next important term is cultural integration. It is a close relationship among various elements of cultural system. It is a state of a particular region or country or state where we could see a lot of people living and sharing their culture, coming together and interacting each other and blending to form a more unified and cohesive role. This term is more common in sociology, anthropology, and the cultural integration. It is little similar to the multiculturalism, but in cultural integration, they will follow their own culture. There will be no minority and majority basis. Every individual will have a unique practice of their own culture. They will have group, they will practice their own culture, where we can see cultural integration, no dominance and minority type. Next term is cultural lag. It is very important term for your competitive exams. We could see a lot of questions related to cultural lag these days. So this term was coined by sociologist William Fielding Ogburn, also known as W.F. Ogburn, in early 20th century. He wrote a book called Social Change with respect to culture and original nature in 1922. In this book, he talked about the cultural lag, which means society has belief, values, norms, but it couldn't catch up or adjust with the technological or advancement or other social changes. For example, as I said, we were using bicycle. Now we have a lot of developments in motorcycle. Then we have aircraft, but still we follow the same norms and values whatever our grandma and grandpa followed during the bicycle days. So there is a lag between the material culture and non-material culture. So to define the cultural lag between the material and non-material, he used this term cultural lag. We have clearly differentiated these three different terms in my video that I have uploaded in my YouTube channel. I have given that video link in the icon as well as in the description box. You can refer this video to get clear understanding on ethnocentrism, xenocentrism, cultural relativism. For explanation in Tamil, subscribe to Sociology in Tamil. Watch my other videos. For more new videos on sociology, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I will be uploading a lot of videos on sociology. This is Mohammed signing off.